Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari. Oh, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Oh, oh, oh. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Oh! Okay. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. The Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari. Oh, the Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Oh, everyone. Okay. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Get it up there, up there, up, 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 up. 1, 2, 3. Up, up, down, down. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Sideways. Okay. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnanam Jana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Thank you. Today, we are looking at Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 87, the prayers of the personified Vedas, and it's text 39. I really need that. Okay, we're going to go to the verse word by word translation, if you don't mind. Okay, Yadi, if. No samudaranti, they do not uproot. Yatayaha, persons in the renounced order of life. Riddhi, in their hearts. Kama, of material desire. Jata, the traces. Duradbhigamaha, impossible to be realized. Asatam, for the impure. Hriddhi, in the heart. Gataha, having entered. Asmrita, forgotten. Kanta, on one's neck. Manihi, a jewel. Asu, their life heirs. Tripa, who gratify. Yoginam, for practitioners of yoga. Ubayataha, in both worlds. Api, even. Asukam, unhappiness. Bhagavan, O personality of Godhead. Anapagata, not gone away. Antakat, from death. Anadiruda, unobtained. Padat, whose kingdom. Bhavataha, from you. Translation. You can repeat it after me. Members of the renounced order, who fail to uproot the last traces of material desire in their hearts, remain impure, and thus you do not allow them to understand you. Although you are present within their hearts. For them you are like a jewel, worn around the neck of a man, who has totally forgotten it is there. O Lord, those who practice yoga only for sense gratification must suffer punishment, both in this life and the next. from death, who will not release them, and from you, whose kingdom they cannot reach. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktimarga Swami, Prabhupada's followers. Hare Krishna. How do you like that? Okay. I'm going to bring this around a little bit. Okay. I'm going to charade it out. So if you can guess the words in this way, it keeps people a little more awake, attentive. It does work, believe me. Trust me. Okay, now if you're going to follow, please don't answer. Okay, if you got a phone or something. But those were without a phone. I want you to participate. Okay, a mere show of renunciation is not sufficient to gain a person entrance into the kingdom of God. One must undergo a thorough change of heart, symptomized by a complete lack of interest in the self-destructive habits of sense. Okay. Both gross and subtle. Not only must the true sage refrain from even thinking of illicit sex, intoxication, and gambling, but he must also give up his desires for reputation and position. Altogether, these demands add up to a formidable challenge. But the fruits of true renunciation in consciousness are well worth a lifetime of endeavor. The Mukunda Upanishad 3.2.2 confirms the statements of this verse. Kamanya kamayate manyamana sa karma bhira jayate tatra tatra. Even a thoughtful renunciant, if he maintains any worldly desires, will be forced by karmic reactions to think birth again and in various circumstances. Philosophers and work hard to become free from birth and death. But because they are unwilling to surrender their proud independence, their meditations are devoid of devotion to the Supreme Lord. And thus they fall short of the perfection of renunciation, pure love of God. This pure love is the only goal of a sincere Vaishnava. And therefore, he must vigilantly resist the natural temptations of profit, adoration, and distinction, and also the impulse to merge into an all-consuming impersonal oblivion. As Srila Rupa Goswami states in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11, Anya Vilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyana Vritam Anukulina Krishnam Shilanam Bhakti Uttamam. When first-class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires. Knowledge obtained by monastic philosophy and fruit of action. The devotee must constantly serve favorably as Krishna desires. For those who undergo rigorous yoga discipline only to please their senses, prolonged suffering is inevitable. hunger, disease, the degeneration of old age, injury from accident, violence from others. These are a few of the limitless varieties of suffering one can experience to varying degrees in this world. And ultimately death awaits, followed by painful punishment for sinful activities, especially those who have freely indulged in sensual enjoyments. Okay. At the cost of others' lives, can expect punishment so severe it is unimaginable. But the greatest pain of material existence is not misfortune in this life or being sent to hell. This is fire over there. After death. It is the emptiness of having forgotten one's eternal relationship with the personality of God. Sridhar Swami prays, the hypocrite who cheats himself by a pretense of renunciation thinks only of sense enjoyment and thus suffers constantly, bewildered day and night. He is overwhelmed by the exhausting endeavors he contrives for himself. This fool disobeys your laws and is corrupted by greed for respect from other fools. O protector of the fallen, O bestower of mercy, O supremely blissful master, please save that person, myself. Hare Krishna. And that's a quote by Sridhar Swami, and we also quoted him yesterday, an excellent verse. Jai, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you for helping me to present the purport. Hare Bol. Okay, so the topic today then, under this heading, the prayers of the personified Vedas, is you've got to watch out for those phonies, the fakes. We are talking about the members of the renounced order, and to be renounced is really important. The conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita, if you look at it very carefully, the last chapter is all about renunciation. How to channel your energies and talents in the service of God. That's real sannyas, actually. You know? And then Krishna gives some hints as to what you're supposed to cultivate in the different modes of nature. There are 3 modes, and we went over them yesterday. And when you combine them, you have 4, you crossbreed them, you have 4 magical boxes, And one is called Brahmins. Brahmins are visionaries. They're needed in society like anything. Where are they? I've been looking. Under the haystack. Okay. Shamadama Kshocham Kshantir Arjavam Evacha Jnanam Vijnanam Astikam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. Chapter 18, text 42. Qualities of a Brahman, beginning with peacefulness, self-control, cleanliness, those kind of things. And then we have, in the next shloka, Hare Krishna, we actually have the verse describing what is a Kshatriya. Kshatriya has all these wonderful qualities, being powerful, resourceful, charitable, etc., etc. Then you have a classification of people that are Vaishyas, and they work on the economy, they're producers, they look after the land, they look after animals, etc. And then you have the Shudra community, which is the largest population on the planet, and always will be, forever and ever, amen. So we better recognize them and acknowledge them. They do the physical work. They do the lifting and the pushing and the pulling. They do a lot of incredible, intense work that is necessary. Okay, so anyways, we're just talking about people in these different orders of life. And then there's also that's the spirits, we're talking about social orders. Spiritual orders are also there, right? You've heard about them. Brahmachari, that means you study Brahma, you study Brahman, you study spirit. You study about what is this world all about, and you can't eliminate, you can't ignore the spiritual side of life. If you're just studying the physical, if that's all that is important, then it's half of the program, or less than, right? So Brahmachari is engaged in Swadhyaya, studying Brahman, and Swadhyaya means study the Shastras, study the world, look at it for what it is, and not for what you think it is, or not for what others want you to believe it is. Such as in the consumer world, they want you to believe you can enjoy everything. Well, yes, you can. But you have to, their angle is you have to buy it from us. There's a price. You want to stand there? Give us some money. I was very surprised in the Netherlands. I don't think it's a bad idea, but just to go for a pee, you have to pay some money. Hare Krishna. For water. I was raised I'm a 50s kid. I'm a post-war kid, a baby boomer. You never had to pay for water. Just get out of the tap. It wasn't so bad, So anyways, buy from us and then you'll be happy. Do it naturally, forget it. Okay, so you've got that, we've got these kind of things going on. And so really, this verse is highlighting to be real. And look up to the renunciants, but they also have to be very real. They can't be fake. I think that Bob Marley, if I can quote him, I don't know how important it is to you folks, but I like reggae. I think I don't listen to it, but I don't mind the dancey side of it. I think it's quite wonderful. So he said something about when you are fake, everyone adores you. But when you are real, people hate you. So I think there's some truth to that. And so we're living in the Kali Yuga, where truth does not prevail. Where there's let's say, one leg of the great bull known as Dharma. There's some little bit of truth, an inkling of it there, but it's soon going to go. And as we know, it goes underground. Even in our great Vaishnava tradition, since Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who brought to the highlighting the philosophy of Krishna, basically, Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, that philosophy got distorted. The idea of loving God and singing and dancing with all your heart, that got distorted. Things went underground. And it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur to sort of, unearth it, bring it back up to some surface level. And there's a lesson to be learned here that the essence of what the disciplic succession bring to us could be lost. It could easily be lost. Things could get watered down real easy, right? Like super easy. Not just super easy, like super duper easy. And so therefore we have to be careful to keep into the limelight that which is real, which is important, that which is truthful. So when it comes to the people that we look up to, and we do look up to our sannyasis and renounced grihastas and so on like that, the warning is that if those persons are still holding a lot of material desires and have some expectations to pursue them, then this is a real problem in the community. If you have desires, but you don't pursue them, great. Now, who doesn't have desires? It seems to me that everyone has desires. It's innate. It's in there. The ultimate desire, though, is to love Krishna. But deep down inside, but that is the deepest. But somewhere down in the not in the core necessarily. So there are desires. There's like an aftertaste for the sense gratification that we have been involved in. How many people have been involved in Maya in the past? 100%, 10%. But if you believe me, if you're really truthful about it, not fake about it, put up your right hand. Put up your left hand. Put up your right leg. Okay, so now we're being honest, we're being genuine. It's very important to be genuine and to be honest. Okay, so Krishna does talk about the mind, and we know that the mind, when he talks about yoga, whenever you talk about yoga, you must talk about the mind. It cannot be ignored. And the mind is a vessel, it's a container that has lots of stuff in it. It's not the best stuff. It's a bunch of junk in most cases, and it's a carryover from the past. It's also an accumulation from the present. And we tried to do something about it. We tried to, dissolve it. And it's understood we more or less pass it on, Prabhupada did talk about at initiation, karma's transferred. But, this is a debatable topic. Is it the guru that really takes it all? Because I think we would have killed Prabhupada like a long time ago. But it's Krishna was ultimately absorbing everything, right? Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishami ma shuchaha. Okay, it's about surrender, surrender. And Krishna will absorb all the pop, all the sin. I'll tell you a fun story. I was walking through the States, and I went to the state of Utah. It's my favorite, actually. And I was in one town where they had 2 radio stations. And in the first radio station, I was interviewed, and it went really well. It was between some songs, and I was there live, so it was really fun. And then the next day, I went to another radio station to get interviewed, right inside where they broadcast and put out all the music. And so on this second place, I met Jennifer. And Jennifer was the broadcast person, whatever they call it, interviewer. And I said, "Oh, Jennifer, so what is the..." First of all, I showed her a Bhagavad Gita. I said, "Oh, I think I have that book." I said, "Have you read it yet?" So, "No, but now that I've met you, I think I will. I will." So Jennifer, in the other radio station from yesterday, they play country western music, and not my favorite. But anyways, what do you play here? And she said, "Oh, we play pop music." I said, "Pop? Pop. Pop, you know what that means in our tradition, in our language? It means sin." I said, "Oh, good. Oh, Swami, put on your headphones. We're on the air. Get it. So we went on the air. Okay, so we have somebody very special today. He's the walking monk, and he's also known as, let me see if I can say it, Bhaktimarga Swami. She said it perfect. And that's in the Sanskrit language, Swami? I said, yes. And so we were just having a little chat. And the Swami was asking me what kind of music we play, what genre of music is on the air here. And I told him it's pop music. And he said that in that Sanskrit language, it means sin. And that's why we have the Swami here, to deal with our sins. So the whole idea is to go for surrender to Krishna. And that's what the renounced persons try to do. And to a large extent, they are successful. And they inspire everyone by their good example. But what if there are some desires that are still held within? And Krishna does address this to Arjuna about mityachara suuchite. Mitya means false. Achara, like teacher. If you're a false teacher, that they cannot bear much fruit, devotional fruit. So Krishna is giving a warning, let's be real about our spirituality. And, the word mithya, like myth, It comes from that Sanskrit word, mythology. It's what doesn't really exist. It's a falsity. So what do we do about people who are in the renounced order and they inspire us like anything, but yet they maintain or preserve some desires? Should we can them? Should we desert them? What do you think we should do? Maybe there's an assumption, everything's very pure and everything. We're always thinking about Krishna and the Shikshastakam. You have, Gurvastakam. You have, the translation by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The Guru, the spiritual master, is making tasteful arrangements with Krishna and the gopis and so on like that. Well, I'm in the renounced order. I can't remember the last time I did that. But one thing that I really appreciate that Prabhupada did for us, he gave different definitions for what is a real Vaishnava. And one thing he said, a Vaishnava is somebody who always tries. Somebody always tries, who fights the good fight. Somebody who's a real warrior. Okay, and if there's something rolling around inside in the mind that's maybe of a contaminant nature, that's toxic, then that person will try to fight that toxicity, try to do away with it. And Krishna says, wherever the mind wanders, because we're talking about the mind here, due to its unsteady nature, just grab it, pull it back in, and bring it under the control of the self. Like kids. We love them. They're adorable when they come here, right? The mind, they're so cute, And they do their little monkey stuff. And, they get out of control. You have to keep them in arm's reach, or, at least your eyes have to see what they're doing. And it depends on the age. But you just have to keep them under the control. So the mind is like a wild child. Yes. Yeah, and we're born to be wild. That's a song. Born to be wild. Okay, those were born by devotee parents. They should be born to be mild. But most of us are wild because of our association with the material energy and those three energies, those three modes of nature. They're always haunting us. Even the Vedas, we have to be very careful. I was looking at the art museum and some of the displays, which are absolutely beautiful. And we do have people in our culture, in our community, in our whole tradition, that are very influenced by some tamasic things, You can, like the other day, 2 days ago, we saw cute goats. They were absolutely adorable. Do you remember? You have a lot of them in Bengal, don't you? Hare Krishna. But they get offered to the goddess, Hare Krishna. And that's part of it's connected to our tradition. It is. But it's for those who are living in the tamaguni. We don't necessarily prescribe to that. We're not interested in that. And in fact, most of the Vedas, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nishtragunya Bhavarajana, is something that Krishna says, cancel it out, Arjuna. Forget most of the Vedas. I want you to get beyond the Triguna, the three energies. Let's go to the purest level possible. So that takes some endeavor. It does take some work. It takes some effort, like anything. When we chant Hare Krishna in the morning, which some of you are doing here, and it's a fight, isn't it? It's a fight with the mind. Try to keep your mind on track. It's not that easy. So what we're being warned about is those who don't fight, really. They may externally look like they are the real job, but internally, maybe there's a lot of things going on that want to be fulfilled. And the problem is when you pursue it, then there is a real issue. And where there's issues, there's going to be tissues. for sure. There's going to be it'll be a sad scenario. So in terms of like what Prabhupada told us about what is a Vaishnava, one who always tries, and doesn't give up the fight. Have you ever been in a kirtan? And this especially holds true for some of the young guys who are showing off a little bit, you know. And then, I'm tired. They just put the drum down. Have you ever seen that? In the middle of a kirtan, middle of an arti, they just drop. I said, well, what's that all about? You know, nobody on the stage would do that. They just keep it up, you know. So don't give up. Don't give up the fight. And it is a fight. If you think it's not a fight in this world, then you're in big Maya with a capital M, capital A, capital Y, capital A, big time, you know. So maybe small time Maya is allowed. As long as we are very committed to our sadhana, then there's regulation. After all, Krishna says, I don't know why more people don't join Krishna consciousness. Because we have a God that says, I am sex. And everyone's into sex. So why aren't they coming to us then? But there's a clause to that, right? I'm sex, which is rendered according to dharma, you know. That's not promiscuous, but that which is proper, that which honors responsibility. Responsibility follows the act, right? In these days and times, people are engaged in the act, but not the responsibility. Okay, we're using protection. Oh yeah? Well, you know, you may not be in a situation where you will bear children as a result of the act because you wore protection. I'm sorry to say this, I hope I'm not going off track too much, but things are going on around in the world. You know, is it really responsible? You're getting hung up with another person, you're getting very entangled with them, and then you might even drop because your pleasure's not being satisfied enough, and you move on to some other partner. That's the way the world is going these days. Make some observation. I remember one time, I personally avoided all that stuff. And I remember it was long ago, I was a teenager, and my father was shaving, and I was in the tub, in the washroom, and it was Saturday. And he said, John, that was my name, never get married. Now, I never asked him why. I just didn't ask him. Why would, you know, we never had deep conversations. But whatever he had to say, it was coming from a realm of experience. And then when I looked around and I thought there was a time in the temple in Toronto where I kind of spiritually grew up, everyone was getting married. All the brahmacharis and the brahmacharis were getting married. And the ladies in the temple especially were matching everybody up psychologically. That was their, I don't say it was their job, it was their habit. At least at that time, you know. So I was being matched up, and I heard a little bit about it in the background. So my temple president came along and said, he said, Bhaktimarga, I need to talk to you about something. And so I went to him, you know, obediently, said, now, there's something I need to talk to you about, and this is the kind of thing that Prabhupada would do, okay? So, and he was just about to open up, and then someone called his name, and then he got distracted. I knew what he was going to talk about. And after that, he never came back to me with the subject. So I was relieved. I didn't have to be teased. You know, I was relieved. And you know, when I look around and I see what's happening in people's lives, the way people partner up and the way they break off at something. People are very flaky. They're like, you know what cornflakes is, right? you know, flakes, or people who have like dandruff, like flakes, you know, they don't look like clean themselves, flaky, or snowflakes, you know, when the snowflakes come down, especially on December 25th. If you're so lucky, it'll come down like little crystals, you know. And, you know, most people are very flaky. So I was looking around and saying, why should I get entangled? You know, I mean, I just don't see much happiness. There's the romantic period, but that's really short. But pequito, klein beetje, petit, small, compared to everything else. Isn't it really? The real balance of that is service to each other, to help each other, because you need each other. You know, you complement each other. So you can maintain your identity, but you merge in a mission, and that mission is serve each other, like that. So most people go through that particular practice, and in our tradition, and it's good. You learn how to serve, and that's what it's all about, to serve nicely, isn't it? Seva saves. Our Jesus friends say, Jesus saves. Really? Okay. But it's really seva that saves. Seva saves. It's what's going to hold you together, you know? Hold you together. So my parents were Roman Catholic. That's how they raised me. And I had a lot of time to think about them because I walked in the land where they came from, the Netherlands. And, you know, so we learned a lot of things about a higher power and this and that. And then when I joined, I became a devotee. I was like, some cult, or following that, where in India, the roots are from India, where everyone's starving to death. And, you know, they let the cows eat all the food, and that's why people are starving to death. You know, and they have snake charmers and all the, whatever was the profile of India at that time. And of course it's changed largely. Now it's a superpower and things like that. People have got to understand a little differently that, yes, there were poor people. There were some starving people, thanks to the British Raj. I'm not going to talk more about that, okay? But these things were going on. So anyways, they were watching me. My parents were, you know, concerned, of course. And I said, Mom, Dad, you know, I'll leave Krishna consciousness if I have a chance. But I'm just going to check it out, you know? You know, people check things out, especially when you're young. You're always checking things out, right? And then you become satisfied, wholly, solely, like physically maybe, and also spiritually, then you've really got a good program. It's a real good bargain. It's a really good deal. Yeah. So after some years, and like my parents were very defiant in a way, well, you know, our oldest son is believing this stuff from India. We're making a statement. We'll buy a Bible and we'll put it on the coffee table. Okay, we never had a Bible before. And now suddenly the Bible's so important. You know? So I came to visit and I saw the Bible there. I didn't ask any questions. Okay, I understand what's going on here. And but then, you know, they saw that my friends or my peers, they weren't doing so well. This guy's on drugs. This person is, the marriage has failed. He's on his third wife, and all those kind of things. And then they see that so I'm happy, and that I'm with God. And the one thing that really sold it for them was they felt I was safe. I was interviewed in a town in Canada when I was on the first walk. And I said in the interview, and it went in the paper, I believed in Jesus, and I still do believe in Jesus. I just added Krishna. So for my parents, who come from a black and white culture, you mean you can actually like Jesus and like Krishna at the same time? I says, yeah, of course, why not? Why not? So that kind of set them free in their, attitude towards me and what I was doing. And of course, if you're Catholic, you know that they have their sannyasis there. They have their, our bishops and their popes that don't get married, and so they understand that culture. So, anyways, what about sannyasis? Are they important? Renounced order, because that's what the verse is about. I'm not throwing anything out new to you, Prabhu. I'm sticking to the theme here. Are they important?
Yes.
See, we. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, then, why? Why are they important? Because they offer a certain direction. They are, a guru is the director, right? A guru is a cheerleader too. A guru is a coach, a life coach. A guru is, what else can we say? Well, we mentioned guide. A teacher, right? And so what about it? Maybe some of us will not take up the order of sannyas formally, but we all have a responsibility to be a renounced person by being devoted to someone else, perhaps, as a grihastha. That shows, like in this day and age, in Kali Yuga, if you stay married, if you're married with someone for 25 years, so that kind of commitment is important. And if we have, sannyasis who are, following, being very strict with themselves, that's a real plus. That means everything can keep going. Once we fall off the tracks, then there's problems. We can forgive. We have a chance to, for the person to redeem themselves. Sometimes that does happen. Sometimes it does not happen. But, time maybe will heal the situation. Time is a healer, right? If there's a scandal, somebody has personal difficulty, time can heal that person as well, and heal us, will recover from the shock. Krishna says, after all, that he's time. He says it several times. He says, time I am, destroyer of the worlds. Right? So time destroys. He also says, I am inexhaustible time. If you want to know the nature of time, it just keeps going and going and going. Like today, we have the sun. Yay! We have the sun. And the sun always comes out, but there's something called clouds that block the vision. Right? And then Krishna also says that he is of subduers, I am time. I believe he says it 3 times. Chapter 10, chapter 11. You can check it out. Just like a teenager checks out everything. So you can check it out, be a teenager again. Check it out. Check out the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I am time. And Prabhupada liked everyone to be punctual. He liked the deity worship to be like that. I find people in Northern Europe, which is where we are, they're some of the best, most punctual people. Am I right about that? Yeah. The place where they make clocks, Northern Europe. Once you go south in Europe, oh no, it gets a little more relaxed. And anybody from a warmer climate, they're never on time. And our friends from the land of Bharat are like that. But they have a lot of other good qualities to compensate. So I think it's important that we look at Krishna's time, not just in the form of the deity, not just in the form of japa, not just in the form of shastra, not just in the form of prashadam, and maybe through the devotee. But let us recognize Krishna in the force of time. It's really important. It's about time we get it together. Yeah. I'm looking at the time here, by the way. This is 4:34. I like that verse from the Bhagavad Gita. That's a good one. Shall we go to that? Tadvidi pranipatiga paripurasnena sevaya upadevashanti te jnanam jnanidas tattvadarshinaha. So we get the truth. We get the truth from teacher, from guru. And the guru is usually in a position where, due to busyness and being occupied in so many things, it requires some service. So you render service, you ask relevant questions, and then why to that person? Because that person has got some realizations, has got some experience. Tattva darshana means some experience. And, to a large extent, people still do that. They still, even in this decrepit Kali Yuga age, people still are looking to someone who's got a little more experience. Says, hey, can you show me how to dance? Hey, can you show me how to do this, how to do that, so on like that. So it's good. What really is the perfection of life is when you go to someone who's got some spiritual experience. That's what's important. So if you recall in the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita as it is, Krishna was smiling when Arjuna was down, a broken man, and my mind is reeling. I'm trembling, I'm shaking, I'm crying, etc. All these symptoms of being broken down, being depressed, and the result of that was Arjuna took the right course. He said, because I'm very weak and I see you're very strong, please help me. I'm your student now. You're my teacher. I'm your shishya. You're my guru. Let's get on with it. And Krishna was smiling, even though his great good friend was down on the ground, couldn't even lift his bow. You have those mornings where you have a hard time to pick up your bead bag. Oh, really? Okay. Since, do I really have to get up? Yes, you have to get up. The intelligence is, you must get up. But your senses say, I don't want to get up. So there's always some kind of teacher in around us that we must take shelter of. Yeah, so I brought up this book, it's 4:34. Oh yeah, it's not a 4:34. Okay, it's about 9 o'clock. Hare Krishna. So in essence, what we want to do is summarize here. Let's not be fake. Let's not be a phony. Let's be real. That's what Prabhupada what people liked about Prabhupada. He was very real. He walked his talk. And there's nothing worse than duplicitousness. And when Prabhupada describes the age of Kali, he uses 2 words to describe it. It is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. When people see double standards, two-faced, duplicitousness. So we want to try to get away from that. And the way to do that is just keep trying. Keep on trying. Never give up the fight. Be a warrior. All right, so anybody have any questions or comments? I think we might have time for something. Okay. Yeah, anything? Yes, thank you.
Maharaj, in today's purport, there's one line that caught my attention. This pure love is the only goal of a sincere Vaishnava, and therefore he must vigilantly resist the natural temptations of profit, adoration, and distinction, and also the impulse to merge into an all-consuming, impersonal oblivion. So earlier on the purport, it speaks, of course, about the basis of giving up gross sense gratification, but then says that actually one can be affected by more subtle aspects, of course, which I just mentioned, the temptation of profit, adoration, distinction. And this is something I'm not personally fully aware, you know, how much it's affecting me, but I know it's there, it's very obvious. Mm-hmm. But the last one I'm struggling to understand, because that's my most worrying one. It speaks about a sincere Vaishnava, not just a Vaishnava, a sincere Vaishnava. Yet there's a risk of the impulse or desire to merge into all-consuming impersonal oblivion, and seems that even if I'm sincere, that desire is still there. So that's more worrying for me, that it's something I'm not so much aware of, that might just pop up.
You mean particularly the impersonal side of it?
Yes, that's there even in the sincere
Vaishnava. Something to be concerned about, because great Vaishnavas, they always view this merging concept as like taking a bunch of poison. Yeah, we should have a healthy fear of that. Fear is okay, by the way. Anybody scared? Fear is all right. You have to have a healthy fear. And one of the fears for the Vaishnavas is I don't want to get into that tendency to merge everything and water everything down and to come to the conclusion that I'm God, I'm better than God, or maybe there is no God. Like these are all different angles of the same philosophy. So the tendency is there, but the tendency to kill is also there sometimes, right? Because I see and I just hate this guy, you know. So the tendency to be wrong or to be evil is there, but at the same time, sitting inside the heart, tendency to be good is also there. So that's what we cultivate, and that's called bhakti. Anything can arise. When you read the story of Dhruva was a good man. He was a good ruler. He had a little problem, and it was you trace it back to had an abusive stepmother. More or less, she was saying to him when he was just a tender 5-year-old, if you want to have some pleasures in life, you have to die first. Then you have to take birth in my belly. Well, that's pretty heavy stuff for a psychological mind of a young child to bear that. So fortunately, Dhruva had a great mom, and she advised him appropriately. And he had this anger stuff going on. And he went through his great tapasya program for 6 months. He went through tremendous, penances. And then it appeared that he was clear of this, anger. But then much later on, it flared up again. When his son Uttam was killed, these were like two boys that kind of grew together, and brothers, and we assumed they got along. So Dhruva was really, really passionate at that moment. He turned into like a Lawrence of Arabia, bloodthirsty, bloodhounding, So it all just flared up once again, and it seemed to be crawling around inside of him, this anger management issue. And if it wasn't for one of his elders or ancestors, Manu, to say, stop right there, he might have just gone on. So he was lucky to be living in a culture of, wise people. Otherwise, it would have been bad news for him. So even if, you're doing everything right, you go through the right motions and gestures, you follow the program in the temple, you do your dutifully 16 rounds, 64 once in a while, nirjal, all that good stuff, there still might be something harboring inside that you got inside that you don't even know about, you're not aware of. Just like somebody, I think was an example given here. Something's under your nose. Where are my keys? Where are my keys? Have you ever been there? Where are my keys? And they're right there in front of you. Somebody's wearing their glasses. Have you ever done this before? Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? Why don't you? They're on your nose. So you don't know that something's there. But because we are of the Tashta Shakti, the energy of God, that is sometimes sitting on the fence. And we're not perfect. We can potentially be like God, like in quality, but we're never God. So there's a deficiency. We have to accept that we are defective. But we can become as perfect as our pure devotee, Prabhupada, or we can become, you just have to follow. We want to be pure like Krishna is pure. And, so you just keep at the sadhana. That's what keeps things under control. Then you're safe. Otherwise, there's no safety. Is that okay? So please don't merge, even if you have a desire. Anybody else? Hare Krishna. Any? I'm doing my radar here. I'm just hearing some crickets at the moment. Anything? Si, senor.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. In order to stand strong in this sadhana, if you take a blessings of seniors, Maharajas, Prabhupada, what will happen? It will make the environment conducive for our devotional service, or it itself will burn all the bad intentions besides it?
Well, the solution to our problems with these desires is that, the answer is to be in the right company. To be in the right company. And then they show by their example, and you just copy, you follow. That's all. It's not very complicated. Yes, it burns desires, it can do that. Because parang drishtva nivaratite. You get a higher taste. Vishayavi nivaratante. So there's this, we've got this aftertaste, like we mentioned earlier on, for the things of the past. And but the advance will show you a higher taste.
Thank you, Maharaj.
That's it. Get a higher taste, and then the lower taste, I don't need them anymore. Good. Thank you very much, Prabhus. I want to thank you very much for the nice time we're have had here for the last day or so. And we hope to see you sometime in the future. If I can be of service to you, let me know. I'll be somewhere on some road, some trail. Jai Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Namo namah. Namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Jai.